from Bike Fitness Coaching, and today we're going to talk about pedals, cleats, adjusting cleats, and shoes. So first of all, there is a company that we've found, HT Components. They make look compatible pedals, and we have 4 pedals here. They also make 2 look road cleats. One's more carbon, one has a little bit more nylon in it. They have 2 cleat options, just like look. If you look, has 3. They have the H5 cleat, which has 4.5 degrees of float, and then they have a H7 with 0 degrees of float. So we're going to be concentrating on the H5 cleat. These cleats are 49 grams the pair. These cleats are 51 grams per pair. These are the cleats that come in all of the boxes. There are 4 pedal options: PKO2, PKO2T. We have a PKO1, which has been discontinued for the US market. We'll get into why. And a PKO2G. The PKO2 is about $160 retail. 53 millimeter Q, 53. The PKO1 has a 52.5. 237 grams for the PKO2, 197 grams for the PKO2T, 256 grams for the PKO2G, and 206 grams for the pair for the PKO1. The PKO1 has a carbon comp body, chromoly spindle, 2 seal bearings, but they don't have the steel plate. And it's my guess this is why they've been not allowed in the US for safety reasons. Going into the next one, the 256 gram for $110 for the pair. Steel plate, a nylon composite body, chromoly spindle, 2 sealed bearings, and the steel plate. The PKO2, 160 retail, carbon comp body, chromoly spindle, 2 seal bearing, steel plate. So these 2 are similar, $110, $160, except the body is nylon composite and the body on the PKO2 is carbon composite. Stepping up to their top of the line, 197 grams. This is like the PKO1 with the added steel plate, except this has a titanium spindle and 2 seal bearings and bushings. And again, the cleats come with the pedals. Okay, we're back over to the Wahoo KICKR bike, which we're going to install the pedals on. A couple notes on the KICKR bike. When we did Peloton fits, we've done over 1,000 virtual Peloton fits. And one of the things is maintenance on the Pelotons. They do not recommend you keep pedals for over 1 year without replacing pedals on the Peloton. So I get asked all the time about 1 in 10 or 2 in 10 fits. What pedal system do I need to go to? I always recommend either Shimano or Look. One of the maintenance items on the KICKR bike is protect this control box here. When I ride the bike, I have it draped over and no water or sweat get on the control box. People are saying their leads corrode, then it doesn't shift anymore. Always keep this thing covered and sweat free. Another thing people ask for is they use a stock saddle. We've gone to specialized power saddles with our KICKR bikes. They work extremely well. So let's get back to the pedals. Here is a look pedal and Keo 2 Max. And here is the new racing pedal from HT Components. As you can see, the look pedals still work good. The bearings are perfect on these things. I like these pedals out of all the look pedals because I've tried them all, and On the racing models, which the carbon plate, the lightweight models, the seals aren't as good. The sweat gets into the pedal and rusts the bearings from the inside, and you can't even get this nut out to change the bearings. End up throwing the whole pedal out. These Q2 Max last a long time. Let's talk about the differences. All of the HT pedals have a wider steel plate. You can see how the HT is a wider platform. A couple other differences. The Look has the adjustment on the top. The HT has the spring tensionometer on the bottom. The Look has a window which tells you how much spring tension is in from minus to plus. The HT doesn't, it's by feel. When you do put these spring pedals in, I always recommend to either put WD-40 or some kind of a grease inside the spring so the spring does not rust. As you see, I've had a lot of hours on the KICKR bike and there's no rust on the spring at all. Another major difference for people that might want to put pedal washers on, get my trusty, that's up here. Trusty dollar caliper. The pedal spindle on the HT is standard. It's a 12.5 millimeter. Look always has a longer spindle, and it is 14.5 millimeters. So you can put another 2 millimeters of washer, pedal washers on a Look pedal if you need to. You're kind of stuck with maybe 1 millimeter on this pedal as well as all the Shimano pedals. Look is one of the only pedals out there that has a longer spindle. So keep that in mind, keep in consideration. So let's go ahead and take the right pedal off, or what they call the drive side pedal. Maintenance item is you always want to keep these things greased up. Kind of move them back and forth. Take the pedals off every once in a while on your indoor trainer to make sure they don't rust completely on the crank arm. So as you see, these are coming off, but they are dry. They are ready for some lube. No grease left on them. I do have a couple pedal washers on these, which we can put one on the new pedal. But bearings are still good. Always put grease on the pedal hole. I have mine set at 165. Okay, we're gonna go get this back here. A little grease here. Take a washer. Okay, stop. There we go. Should have enough grease on this now. Work the grease in so it doesn't come out the other side. Okay, that's good. Okay, back to the cleat / shoe table. A couple things I want to show you first is that for insoles, the best ones we have ever found are Ice Bug. If you want to search for Ice Bug insoles in a Google search, Ice Bug insoles, a couple important things. They got a really nice, fairly rigid and deep heel cup. They have a longitudinal and a lateral medial arches. And if you see the Met bump, they actually have a transverse arch. We've gotten more involved in that in other videos, but you can see the Met bump and it's in the correct place for the foot. So we highly recommend. We will be using these. The other note is two other things. Lake cycling, I think, is one of the best shoes, road and mountain bike cycling shoes out there. Full carbon sole. The equivalent mountain bike shoe is as well. They would take the same sole and put the rubber boot around the sole. Here's another model of Lake, full carbon fiber sole. The other thing is these are the original shoes with the cleats already set. And just a note, as if you're a bike fitter or going in to see a bike fitter, no cleat tool out there, one of these tools like this, they have some very expensive ones. They are really for reproducing an existing cleat from an existing shoe onto a new cleat on a new shoe. We get people in all the time. The two things people will ask for when they come in for a bike fit, I want my shoes, my new shoes and cleats fit, and then can you reproduce that on my old shoes? So we do usually a reproduction. The best tool we found is the Ergon TP1 pedal cleat tool. There is one for Look, Hole, and there's one for Shimano. So if you're a bike fitter, pick these up. They're fairly inexpensive. Again, when you fit cleats, you have to do it manually. The first time you set cleats on a person, do not rely on any tool. Do not rely on the little lines on the bottom. It is a manual process to get it done correctly, and it might take a few times. Get as close as you can. You might have to have them pedal a little bit, and you test the cleats. You might have to readjust these several times, but the first time it has to be done correctly as a manual process. How this tool works, these are set perfectly for me. I'll take the left shoe first. I'll stick it in. So the cleat is in the hole. Now if you notice the back side, you see the angle of my foot. So I'm going to reproduce that on the other shoes. So what I normally do is I'll take a pen, I'll put some green tape or some kind of a painter's tape on the back, and I will draw around the back looking straight down on the shoe, and also find the middle. So there is where the back of the new shoes will be when we are done. I'll take the right shoe, snap it in, and you can see they're not straight. My feet are this angle. So again, never rely on one of these tools to tell you where to put the cleat. It is a manual process. A good bike fitter will know that. They won't use the other shoes, the other tools. So if you look, there's a center pointing this way, center pointing this way. And then these are, to speed up the video, I've actually installed the new HT Components 4.5 degree of float. Keep it loose. And what I will do, I will snug the top. Put the cleat in. Now this is where the shoe is, and I will kind of move it right about there. So you look, the peripheral is about the same. The mark in the back is the same, and it has a slight heel in. And then I will turn it over and slightly tighten these so it doesn't move the cleat or the shoe at one time. And once they're snug, the other thing, when you do put new cleats on shoes, you need to, before the next 3 rides, you need to tighten them up, because again, I'm bending these washers and they will take a set, they'll relax, and these screws will loosen up. I've seen a lot of cleat screws out on the road, so make sure the next 3 rides you tighten these up before the ride. What happens on a bike fit on new cleats, these screws will become loose before the bike fit is actually completed. So now this cleat in the position is exactly the same position as this cleat. Duplicated them 100%. Did the same thing on the right shoe. And it really speeds up the time when you are fitting a person. In here, just snug the top a little bit. A few moving parts on these cleats. Snug. So you see, just setting that cleat up, it's pretty far off. So move it over. So you want to rotate on the top screw. And again, we fit thousands and thousands of cleats. So this, the first time it's kind of a nervous chore. After you've done thousands of them, it's, you get pretty good at getting them adjusted the first time for the rider. In our next video, we'll talk a little bit about our recent trip to Southern California. We've been up here in Bend for about 2 years, and we still get a couple calls per week from Southern California clients, San Diego County, Orange County, LA County. When are you guys coming back? We need a fit. We can't find any fitters down here. So we made a trip down. We had 6 fits in 2 days at a local shop. They had a tent out in front, and we got 6 happy customers fit that had been waiting a while. Okay, we are back on the KICKR bike. Shoes on, pedals on, clicking in first time. You can tell about 4.5 degrees. Probably have to tighten them up slightly. As I'm pedaling, testing where the float is, and yeah, for right now I am on my left foot and right foot. I'm right in the middle of the float. I would add a couple turns to the pedals themselves to tighten them up a little bit. They're a little on the loose side. They come out real easy. I think it's 13 degrees to get your foot out of these pedals. Easy. Perfect. Nice pedals, nice and smooth. Okay, I'm going to tighten up the pedals. This is a 3mm hex wrench. Yeah, they were all the way loose. About 2 turns there. Two turns there. Let's try that. Yeah, much better, much better. It's going to be a little harder to pop out of the pedals, but just know that the cleats will wear in after probably a couple 100 miles. Unclipping, not too bad clipping out. That's a good, so add about 2 turns to these pedals and they feel much better. Okay. And one last test. I know some of you will ask, these are actual look Wahoo cleats, the gray ones. Let's see if they fit the HT pedals. There we go. They feel slightly tighter than the other cleats. These feel a little more solid in the pedals, but the other ones are good. So they are truly Look Keo compatible. There we go.